this is a short video going over ways to reduce the amount of air your baby can get in while bottle feeding. So I love a bottle that has a gradual nipple as opposed to a bottle that has this kind of blunt nipple and then a wide, I guess, pretend breast. This is really not really how a real breast works. Real breast is soft and it actually turns more into this shape once your baby latches. So this bottle, unfortunately, teaches your baby to just latch at the tip, and they usually live right here. But in order to be proficient breastfeeders and have proper oral function, they need to be able to latch all the way up here and get used to having this much breast tissue or nipple in their mouth. So that's the first thing, is using the right bottle. Let's see, let me move this camera. The second thing is going to be feeding your baby in an upright position. If your baby is preemie or having reflux issues or has been in the NIC unit, you may need to talk to your pediatrician or the NICU provider before you leave and find out if they prefer the baby being side lying and a little bit upright when you feed them a bottle, because this can really, if they're on a pillow and they're side lying, a little bit inclined, that really does mimic breastfeeding because that's the position they're in, but it can be helpful for those babies who might be preterm or suffering with reflux. If you don't have those issues, you want to have your baby sitting upright, it would be great to do skin to skin. And the previous video that Christen did showed how to introduce the bottle. And so I'm just going to go over how to prevent gas or air getting into your baby. And so you have two choices with feeding a bottle. You can feed, chug, 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 you know, and have the nipple full the whole time. Or you can have the baby sitting upright. And that's the wrong way, by the way. The way that we recommend for the best chances of your baby going back to the breast is going to be sitting your baby upright and pacing the feed, keeping the bottle parallel. What I want you to understand is it actually takes a lot of coordination for a baby to suck, swallow, and breathe. And so when the baby is drinking a bottle, suck, gulp, suck, gulp, suck, gulp, and you hear that, and then you hear suck, gulp, suck, gulp, they're swallowing air that way. And so while introducing an empty nipple tip might seem like a total no-no, and you might think that's the craziest thing you ever heard, it actually does help your infant to be able to learn to be patient and wait for a letdown. So introduce empty nipple, suck, 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 and then you introduce a little bit of milk in the bottle. Teaches them that they need to work to get that letdown, just like at the breast. And just like if I put an empty straw in your mouth and had you suck on it, you're not going to swallow air. However, if I gave you like a water bottle, the squeezable water bottles, and had you lay down flat after you were a little bit out of breath and then squeezed the bottle or squeezed the water bottle, meaning fast, fast flow, you're going to suck, swallow, suck, swallow, suck, swallow, and you may swallow air because it is very fast to handle that flow. And so this is the lesser of all the evils, introducing a bottle nipple that's empty for a few seconds. Just like you won't swallow air in an empty straw, the babies very rarely swallow air with an empty nipple. And so Christen did a great job explaining how to feed the baby with a bottle. I just want to go over, like I said, how to reduce gas. So you want to for sure introduce your baby with an empty nipple upright, and then you want to for sure have the baby in an upright position. Check the flow, make sure it is slow. All the bottles say they're slow flow. The way you can kind of gauge the flow of the milk is the suck pattern should be suck, swallow, breathe, suck, suck, swallow, pause, breathe, suck, suck, swallow. And that is a normal bottle feeding behavior. What is not normal is suck, gulp, suck, gulp, suck, gulp, suck, gulp, and then they arch their back or their hands start to kind of get in the way. And that rapid gulp, and then any sounds that are like high pitched, that's not normal, and that is going to cause air getting in your baby. You definitely want, if the baby herself or himself does not pause after a few sucks and they are just hands up here and they're just trying to inhale the bottle, maybe we waited a little bit too long to feed the baby, but you can definitely tilt the bottle down so that they have to pause. You can remove the bottle and burp the baby, because you definitely want to burp your baby depending how old they are, every ounce It should take you about 20 minutes, the same time it takes for breastfeeding, so 20 minutes to feed a bottle. It depends on how old the baby is and how much volume. Another thing you can do to help prevent them taking air in is to make sure their lips are completely sealed on the nipple. There shouldn't be leaking coming out. And so if there is, you definitely want to work with a feeding specialist, and they should definitely keep a good, strong seal on the nipple. Let's see, slow flow, keep the seal, keep your baby upright, and frequent stops to burp are really the main ways to reduce the baby's swallowing air. And so I hope this video was helpful to you, but just remember, feeding them in this way that most of us have been taught to is a guaranteed way for them to swallow air and be very colicky and gassy at the end of the day. While I know doing all of this is a lot more work, takes more time, but you really do reap the benefits for the remaining part of the day, and you have a less likelihood of your baby struggling with discomfort related to gas because of bottle feeding towards the end of the day. They could still struggle with gas symptoms if they're feeding formula, and you might consider looking into discussing how to find the best formula that agrees with your baby's tummy if the gas is not related to how you're feeding the bottle. If you're feeding the bottle perfectly and the baby is still coming unglued and full of gas and their feet just coming up and they're just arching their back, you want to talk with your pediatrician or another feeding specialist to kind of overcome that obstacle. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I look forward to chatting with you more later.